Good morning on Friday 27 September here at Island Head Creek. I'm Peter and I'm on fast forward on my Queensland adventure, which I'm now heading south from, but still plenty of adventures to be had along the way as we discover new places. Yesterday I went ashore here at Island Head Creek, 11-kilometre beach walk. That was there and back, and annoyingly I saw two sharks playing, sharks play, I don't know, maybe, just off the surf line, and it was very little surf, so I mean I'm talking like about 4 or 5 meters off the beach, just cruising along as the tide was coming in, and I videoed them and I didn't. So anyway, still annoyed about that. I had some really cool shots of sand moving along past my feet, but no sharks. Anyway, onward. These things happen to me a lot. No, kidding. I'm leaving Island Head Creek shortly. Going to go to Port Clinton, which is just under 4 hours down the coast, down south. And yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that too. Read reviews, popular place. So yeah, it should be a leisurely little hop. We've got a nice little nor'easter coming in at the moment. So it should be a nice broad reach going down there, hopefully. I'm getting a little tired of bashing against the waves, so maybe Huey heard me. Anyway, it's a little grey here today. Bit of rain. Well, no rain yet, but I can feel the sprinkles, and definitely further up the creek in the hills there, it looked like it rained a bit, but I'm seeing bits of blue sky coming out, so here's hoping. Hey, I need those on my panels too. So anyway, it's all about me. Anyway, I am just waiting for the coffee to brew, put it in my flask, and we will hit the water as opposed to the road. Okay, more later. Looks like the rain's out at sea this time. Oh, look at that sparkling on the water. Amazing sight. Anyway, I'm about to weigh anchor. The answer is heavy, but this may be in store for us because it is from the north, so let's hope that's what it is up high as well. Anyway, engines on, going forward, and get going. And here we go, going out of the channel here at Island Head Creek, said island. Sand spit there, which I discovered doesn't actually meet up with the one on the island, even at low tide. Yeah, a bit of a deep channel through there, that's cool. Yeah, I think that greyness that was out there just now has moved south a bit, so hopefully that'll pass on, and the day will become a bit brighter like that. But it's very pleasant. It's not cold, that's the nice thing about it. And the yacht just came in, so must have pulled an all-nighter, I'd say, or came from very close by. So, yeah, they're actually anchoring way out in the middle of the channel there, so that's okay. Everybody comes here for a different reason, or a similar reason at least. Just idling the engine at the moment, letting the tide and the wind, just got my mainsail up at the moment. Obviously I'm in a narrow channel, so I want to have the engine as a backup, and I want to be constrained by the jib out as well. So that's Pine Tree Head where I walked to yesterday. So the head, or the spit that I walked to, is just in the foreground, if you can make it out. So a bit of waves breaking there. Yeah, just coming past these rocks. Inside the deeper channel. Once we get out of here, I'll hang a right, throw out the jib, and it should be cruisy going down with the wind, hopefully not right on the clacker for once, but certainly not ahead of us either. So, yeah, pick your poison really, isn't it? Just coming around, approaching the heads now. Beyond that, you can see the Clara group of islands. I think they're just numbered actually. Clara 1, Clara 2. Okay, some nice little beaches here. Not that I'd stay there because they're not very protected. But yeah, no shortage of golden sand beaches. And Island Head. and associated rocks. Well, that rock's got some bush on it, so it's probably actually an island. Who knows? I won't quibble. Just getting a bit of a free ride on the tide. Going out. It probably means I'm going to be fighting it going up the coast. You can never win entirely. But my theory also is when I get to Port Clinton, the tide will be coming back in, so I can get a ride into Port Clinton on a high tide. No, on a low tide. Maybe that's not as good as it sounded the first time round. Anyway, it is all good. Bit of a dreary day, but as I said, not cold, so it's actually quite pleasant. A bit more pleasant when I turn that engine off shortly. I just want to get past the wind shadow of the island. And we're getting a bit of turbulent water as the tide meets the rest of the sea as it pours out of Island Head Creek. Bit of wind over tide too, but there isn't that much wind. It's just enough to keep us going. Doing 4.8 knots, a lot of that is the tide push behind us. But I'm feeling the wind coming out a little bit now as we clear the wind shadow of Island Head. Island. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this is always a nice sight. Coming out to sea. Surrounding the rocks here, it looks close, but it's 19 meters, and yeah, you can sort of see the border there of the tide effect, plus over the rest of the calmer looking sea. So looking down the coast is where we're going, and yeah, I'll name some islands for you in a minute. Work I do for you guys, I don't know. Anyway, I love the job, so I'm not complaining. My pleasure, actually. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on because I haven't had my second coffee yet, so I'll become a little bit more rapid once I've had that. So, Clara Islands, I think it's Dome and something else in the background behind that pile of rocks. I'll also have to see whether I should go inside or outside that, depending on the tide as well, probably. So it's a beautiful coastline here, it really is. Rugged, but nice green hills, and yeah, sort of probably bigger hills than I anticipated actually. I sort of think of Australia as being sort of a worn down old sort of land mass, but there are still, you know, quite craggy parts to it which haven't been worn down yet. So yeah, it's lots of miles, but being looked after well. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, look at that nice little beach in there. Yeah, nice. And here we are passing Brown Rock. Yeah, I suppose I can see that. And the mainland now curves away into a bay there. So we'll go out between Dome and Split Island, and yeah, you can't really see them yet. Well, you can, but it's behind the sail. Patience, eh? Okay, we're just slowly moving along here. Well, slowly, we're doing 4.2 knots, so that's not too bad. It's just you don't feel the wind when you're going with it. Dome Island, Split Island. There's a bit of drizzle coming through at the moment, just fine little pinpricks. Cruiser coming up behind. Got passed by catamaran before. I never saw anybody on it. Yeah, Marie Celeste. Anyway, no, it wasn't. I'm sure it was Mixed Nuts. It was called. And I remember hearing it on the radio on the way up. And I thought, you got to be careful what you name your boat. You got to call it up on the radio. It kind of sounds a bit funny sometimes, right? Anyway. I'm going to have my coffee. I still haven't had it. I know, right? That thermos is amazing. I was actually just doing some editing of videos, which I have yet to upload when I find some internet one day. Anyway, now I'm having my coffee. It's Split Island on the left, Dome Island on the right. I guess that follows. and just looking up ahead. I'm going to go between that headland and that island up ahead and do a slight deviation to the right. This is actually Pearl Bay here at the moment, this big bay, and behind those islands, 3 of them by the looks of it, and they're officially on the map as unnamed. I think we talked about that coming up. There's a popular boat haven behind that, as in, you know, a popular place to anchor overnight or for a few days or what have you. Obviously it's quite protected, which sort of, yeah, I sort of have second thoughts about that, because you're sort of sitting right out here in this bay, but still you're behind the islands. But I can't imagine the swell wouldn't wrap around a little bit, but that's just me. Looking back at the Clara Islands, a little sprinkle of drizzle has passed. Of course now it'll get nice and warm. Yeah, the jib's flapping away there because I've got the wind as usual, well, not as usual, but as often is the case, right on the clacker. So the jib is shadowed. Yes, I know I need to get a pole to pole it out. I don't have one of those. I will have one next time I come up. I do have a spinnaker pole on the deck there, which I don't use, really can't use. It weighs a ton, and it's really a bit big for using on the jib. So yep, I will investigate that. Obviously I've learned a whole lot on this trip about what I need to get, AIS being the other thing, but I want to make sure I get the right one. I know you can get cheaper ones, so I can be visible all the time. So yeah, I don't like the feeling of people not knowing where I am, and I'm sure they don't like the feeling of not knowing where I am. So yeah. Anyway, we'll do a whip around. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so looks greyish up ahead still. There's obviously rain in those hills, but hopefully that'll pass, or we'll go round it, or one of those other positive type solutions. Anyway, I'm continuing with my coffee. Looks like we've got a couple of whales up there. There goes the tail. Probably means he's gone now. Let's just see. Oh well, I caught those whales just as they disappeared. I saw them a little way up ahead before, and they're obviously just lolling around here. Maybe there's a baby one that still needs a bit of time before it's ready to make the big trip, but boy, that looks bleak down there, doesn't it? Yeah, it'll probably change before I get there. Still going along at just under 4 knots, so I can't complain. Right, so the rain cell possibly is generating its own little weather pattern here. So as opposed to the wind being dead behind us, it's now coming from the direction we want to go in. So I'm now close hauled and doing about 6 knots at the moment. Yeah, so let's see how long this lasts. It's we got to veer slightly to the right when we get round this point anyway, so it's no hard yards if this stays the way it is. That's Pearl Bay in there, and they've got some sunshine. Look, any wonder they like it over there. Yeah, I can see a catamaran there, so at least one boat. But yeah, our destination is around this point. So let's see what else it throws at us. 6.6 knots. Okay, current is obviously giving us a bit of a lift there as well. So yeah, all good. It's never get complacent. Welcome to Opposite World. Yeah, so the forecast, although maybe a little old, so I'll take that on the nose. No internet, so yeah. Instead of a northerly, we've now got a southerly. We started with a northerly for the first hour or two. Now got a northerly right on the nose, but a southerly, sorry. Yes, I told you it was opposite world. So I'm now tacking against it, which is fine because it's a reasonable breeze and I'm actually managing between 5 to 6 knots constantly. So that is that island there. I was supposed to go in between that and the mainland if I was taking the most direct track. Obviously, if I'm tacking, that's probably going to not work very well for me. So I've decided to take it wide and go out, basically, so I can take a run almost right into Port Clinton. So it's clearing up slightly. Still pretty grey out to sea, but I think now that was the sign of the southerly coming through, because it was coming towards me as instead of going away from me as I expected it to have done. Anyway, this is getting very convoluted. So anyway, I will continue this track for a little while and make a switch to port tack and go straight in. I'm deciding whether to go in around the, I think it's Border Island or something like that. Go below or above. I don't know. Let's see how this holds. It's going pretty well, so I don't really want to change anything at the moment. And I don't really want to be in the lee of it either, and lose wind. So, let us see what happens, shall we? Yes, I've decided to tack back in a bit earlier than going around the outside of this island, simply because the wind's dying again. So I thought, okay, I'd rather be close to the coast than the entrance, rather than be stuck out there and having to motor in or something like that. The way I've played it basically is that the tide should turn probably in about an hour, which will give me an incoming tide into Port Clinton, so at least I'll be able to ride in on that as well, so rather than fight it, which is always better, isn't it? So the sky's clearing now, so yeah, happy days. Entrance Island, which I think I called Border Island before. Same sort of idea, right? So this is Port Clinton. Just heading in there now and going very slowly as the wind seems to have died away. I'm probably experiencing some sort of wind shadow from there, but I think looking at the sea around, it doesn't look like it's, looks like it's fairly uniform. Anyway, I might get some lunch while I wait for this to all unfold. Oh, we've got a nice little breeze now, taking us in to Port Clinton. Heading up to that headland around there. I believe the actual anchorage is just round to the left behind it. And it's quite a big expanse of water. But there are deep and shallow parts to this. And lots of anchorages around for different weather conditions. And I've just been looking at the forecasts. It's coming through in dribs and drabs. Looks like there could be a wind warning in for the next day or two. So this will be a good place to be. And as I said, it's shallow in places. I've just crossed over a bar right out here, and I had about 3 meters under the keel. So it's deepened out a bit now. So we're at 5.5 meters under the keel. So that's comfortable, and the channel should take us up. Now, Port Clinton apparently was a working port in years gone by. Probably when they farmed the area here. It is all national park now. So the port is no longer in use. There may be some remnants of a jetty or something. I'm not quite sure. So we'll see that as we get closer. Sun's trying to come in too. Isn't that nice? Black Rock on our way into Port Clinton. Getting ever closer. Feel like I've got a nautical mile or so to go, so I'll be looking at pulling down the main down soon. And just see what the afternoon brings. It's 1 o'clock, which is pretty much when I was estimating to be here. So yeah, kind of nice. I left right on 9 and it's now 1, so 4 hours stint is quite pleasant. And just chugging along quite comfortably at the moment. Doing 4.4 knots. I'm not quite sure how much of that is tide. It's probably slack water still, so probably not much, but at least it's not against us. And that's a plus right there. Yeah, big expanse of water here. But as I said before, a lot of it very shallow. So, We're in 10 meters now, but we're in the main channel. So obviously when this was a port, these coastal ships would come in down this channel, I assume. I'm not even sure how long ago that was. So maybe they were even sailing ships. Who knows? Okay, so it looks like there's a few boats up ahead. Not feeling it. Beach there, quite shallow though. Mangroves on it, so I don't think I'd want to go swimming there. And maybe I won't even get ashore, who knows. It looks quite mangrovey and whatever-y. Sand on that side, but that's the wrong side. I have seen some weather warnings coming through about southerlies. So if I could tuck you under that hill, I would, I think, but it's too shallow to really do that. So the deeper part seems to go closer to that little bit of bushy bit straight ahead. So I might go and check that out. Because the one thing about being by a hill, of course, is you're going to get those wind bullets, even though you might be sheltered from the main sort of force. Yeah, you're still going to get whacked. So let's go and have a look up here. I did see the beach further back on the entrance, but maybe that's too exposed to the outside. And although for a southerly, it seems to be quite well positioned. So, you know what, we can all move. That's not a problem. So I thought there was an old wharf here somewhere, but I haven't seen it so far. Anyway, let's go and check it out. I don't believe it. It's Kataya. We have been in every anchorage at the same time, it seems. Very weird. I thought they were staying up north, actually, so clearly not. I'll just see if I can do a drive-by and say good day. Hi guys, well here I am in Port Clinton. So we made the 4-hour hop from Island Head Creek this morning, arriving around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, so I've just been catching up on some jobs here. Reasonably good anchorage. I've got in fairly close, although when I anchored here the beach was not far away at all, but I covered over very quickly as the tide came in. So yeah, obviously another one of those very shallow beaches, not shallow, gently sloping beaches. And yeah, it's nice here, it's pretty. I think I still prefer Island Head Creek, maybe because the scenery is that much closer. But yeah, good spot. The forecast tomorrow is for a southerly, so I'm probably going to end up staying here the night, another day possibly. Yeah, because I don't feel like beating up against that. So yeah, just while I'm rambling on, you might as well look at what I'm looking at. So here's the other boats. Yeah, I love the look of these hills and mysterious layers of them, basically. There's got to be about 3 or 4 sort of layers of different ranges within that. So there you go. It floats my boat. Well, no, the water floats my boat, but anyway, that's a different story. So yeah, as I said, that's all further away. So it's a big open expanse. Perhaps as opposed to Island Head Creek where, you know, the green hills and stuff are really quite close at hand. So I've just topped up the fuel from my jerry cans. Keep that topped up because we don't want condensation keep creeping into the fuel tank and adding water to the whole equation. Plus I put in a bit of preventative stuff against the biofuel bug, whatever it's called, which tends to get into your diesel if it's left for any amount of time, and you'll find that it doesn't actually do anything anymore. So put that in there because it clogs your filters and everything too with whatever little microbes or life forms that come in diesel. Who'd have thought? Yeah, so a little bit of internet here, so I've managed to exchange messages with people, which is really nice. Yeah, just catch up and let everybody know I'm still alive and kicking. So probably upset some people, but the hell, what the hell. Yeah, so it is time for a glass of wine and conclude the day. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching another Fast Forward to Queensland video. As always, don't forget to like, comment on YouTube and subscribe to Dawn Radar.